Hi, this is the welcoming video for Bioethics. I'm Rob Loftus. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm your instructor. This course was actually set up to have both in-person and online versions, and you are probably watching this video because the first in-person class was canceled. So, and I take full responsibility for that. So this video is just going to go over the basics of the course and the material that would have been in that first class. In general, each class has an online version, and if you miss an in-person class for whatever reason, you can do the online version. I have a no-fault lateness policy, so you can turn in late material at any time and not receive a penalty. However, if it starts to look like you're going to put all the work off until the very end of the course, we need to talk because that never works. Okay. So now I'm going to jump to an older recording of this where I talk about my contact information. First up, I just want to talk about my contact information, which is on the first page of this Canvas course. Email is the best way to contact me. You can use the Canvas system or email me directly at jloftis@lorainccc.edu. You'll notice that even though I go by the name Rob, my email says J Loftus and not R Loftus. And actually, when you see me commenting on Canvas, my name appears as James. That's because my full name is James Robert Loftus, and 14 years ago, when I took this job, they entered me in the system as James Loftus, and it hasn't changed since. But please, you can call me Rob, or I know some people don't feel comfortable calling their teachers by their first name. You can say Professor Loftus, and actually in general with teachers, it's always a safe bet to call them Professor, because some people get touchy about it, but I don't. My cell number is also here. Feel free to contact me like everyone else. I'm mostly working from home a lot, but you're better off texting me because I don't pick up for strange numbers because I get spam like everyone else. I do have in-person office hours. Those are listed here. And this is just a screenshot of the front page of the course, the syllabus page of the course. And you can, if you can't make those hours, we can set an appointment. All right, another important announcement. If you have a disability and need an accommodation, you are legally entitled to one, so please contact me confidentially early in the semester. Information about accommodations are available through the Office of Accessibility Services, which is here. In general, the school offers an enormous amount of support for students who need help for any reason at all. And, you know, given the pandemic times we're living in, I'm certain that that's actually a lot of people right now. Most student support is available through the Advocacy and Resource Center, the ARC. The ARC is located on the first floor of the library, and the contact information is on this slide. So what can they do for you? Well, for starters, there's food and income assistance programs. I know that coronavirus has made a lot of, well, people need help, and help is available. Okay, there's also utility assistance programs, childcare services, mental health, addiction, and personal counseling services, transportation aid. They can give you some gas money or a card for gas money. Assistance in finding housing, legal services, services for victims of sexual assault and domestic violence. And that's it. So let's talk about the book now. All right, so this is the book. It's called The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks. It's by a reporter named Rebecca Skloot. It is a nonfiction history of a woman named Henrietta Lacks, whose cancer cells were taken without her permission and then became one of the most important tools in modern medicine. Now, this book's written by a journalist. It's a popular book. It was, in fact, made into an Oprah movie. There are going to be additional readings that will put things in a more philosophical context, because this is a philosophy course, and all those additional readings will just be PDF files that are posted online. Okay, but the main thing we're going to be reading is this book, because it's really good. So you can pick it up at the bookstore, or you can order it online. Okay, as I said before, there are online versions of each class. So this class was designed to be taken either online or in person. However, this semester we just have the in-person section. But because I've got these online versions, if you miss an in-person session, you can always do the online version. The online version of this class was a 16-week course divided into 45 classes. And so for the 10-week version of this course, the classes have been compressed, which is why you will see for each class, often you'll see part 1, part 2, part 3. And that's just because I am mushing material from a more spread out version of the class into a more compressed version of the class. Okay, let's go back to the older video to look at grade components. So, grade components. There are four components to your grade. There are exercises, tests, a midterm paper, and a final paper. The exercises are just there to help you digest the material. They typically consist of like writing prompts and that just let you brainstorm, absorb, relate things to your own life, that sort of thing. And they're just graded on completion. So that, I mean, if you make a good faith effort to, think about the material and write something about it, you get 100 points. And then there are 43 of them, one for each class. And if you do all 43, I just average those, 100 points, and you get full credit for the exercises. If each one you miss, you get a 0. Okay. So the book is actually quite dense. Even though it's a very popular book, there's a lot going on in it. So the exercises are going to be important for digesting that material. Okay. Next. The tests are going to be multiple choice and short answer. There are online versions of the test for the online section, and in-person, the in-person sections will take the test in class unless you have an accommodation and need to take it in the test center. The online test is going to be open book and open note, and that means that the in-person test is going to be open book and open note as well. I know some people, especially when lockdown started, tried to experiment with having closed book, closed note tests, and then you had to turn your camera on and prove that you weren't looking at something or had other browser windows open. And I found for a course like this, that's just too intrusive. I'm more interested in how you develop a relationship with these ideas, how you digest, how you think about them, and I don't really feel like snooping that much. So the online tests became open book and open note, and that means that the in-person tests are that way too. And that also means that it's good to keep organized notes. And in fact, I think I'm one of those people who if I take organized notes on something, I'm 2/3 of the way towards already having it just internalized and memorized. The process of taking notes is, any teacher will tell you this and probably has told you this, is really helpful. Okay. And then there are 2 papers. So the first paper is going to be 1,000 to 1,500 words, and you're going to apply an ethical theory to a concrete situation. And there will be later instructions that provide more detail for that. The second paper is going to be like the previous paper, and in fact it can be a modification of the previous paper if you want it to be, but it has to have at least 1,000 new words. So I encourage people to continue with earlier projects to revise, because most of writing is rewriting, but I do want new words, and that's how you show that you've put in the effort to create the new paper. All right. So one thing to remember is that there is actually no penalties for late work here. I've got a timeline set up on the course where that just matches the timeline for the in-person course. But if you miss something, that's fine. The online section is there so that you can fall back and just do it when you have the time to do it. However, if you fall too far behind, we're going to need to talk. All right, so next steps. You just want to go to class 1. There's a page for class 1. You do the first exercise, you download the review sheet, and watch the videos. Now remember, you have to do something in this course that shows up on the website in the first 14 days, or you will be automatically dropped from the course. So submitting the first exercise, which is just a writing prompt about the situation that Henrietta Lacks is in, submitting that first exercise is an easy way to do that, and that just ensures that I know you're here, you're and participating, and you won't be automatically dropped from the course. So great. Go to class 1, have fun. This is going to be really exciting.